Mr. Schauffele, please call a roll.
Senators Amabile, Baisley, Ball, Bridges, Bright, Carson, Catlin, Cutter, Danielson, Doherty, Exum, Frizzell, Gonzalez, Henriksen, Judah, Kipp, Kirkmeyer, Kolker, Liston,
Excused.
Lundin, Marchman, Michelson Genet, Mullica, Pelton B, Pelton R,
Excused.
Rich, Roberts, Rodriguez, Simpson, Snyder, Sullivan, Wallace, Weissman, Winter. Mr. President,
Let's do this. The morning roll call is 33 present, 0 absent, 2 excused. We have a quorum. Senator Winter, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. President. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal. Senator Bright.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate Journal of April 11th, 2025 be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no? There we go. The ayes still have it. The motion's adopted. Senate Services.
correctly engrossed Senate Bill 54, 116, 168, 187, 197, 202, 203, 271, 274, 275, and 279. Correctly revised House Bill 1014, 1031, 1108, 1115, 1162, 1175, 1180, 1184, 1200, 1211, 1248, and 1270. House Joint Resolution 1025.
Message from the House.
The House has passed on third reading and transmitted to the Reviser of Statutes Senate Bill 6, amended as printed in House Journal April 3, 2025. The House has passed on third reading and transmitted to the Reviser of Statutes House Bill 1195, House Bill 1062, amended as printed in House Journal April 7, 2025. The House has adopted and returns herewith Senate Joint Resolution 10. The House has voted to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1075, House Bill 1230, House Bill 1010, House Bill 1087, House Bill 1113, House Bill 1135, House Bill 1152, House Bill 1165, House Bill 1168, House Bill 1182, House Bill 1224, House Bill 1234, House Bill 1247, House Bill 1161, House Bill 1240, House Bill 1285, and has repassed the bills as amended.
Message from the Reviser.
We herewith transmit without comment as amended House Bill 1062 and 1195, without comment as amended Senate Bill 6.
Introduction of resolutions.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 2 by Senators Danielson and Michelson Genet and Representative Duran submitting to the registered electors of the state of Colorado an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning allowing Colorado lawmakers to pass laws that permit victims of childhood sexual abuse to bring a civil claim for the sexual abuse regardless of when the sexual abuse occurred.
State Veteran Military Affairs. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate proceed out of order to take up consideration of resolutions.
The motion is to proceed out of order for the consideration of resolutions. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We'll proceed out of order for a moment for consideration of resolutions. Consideration of resolutions. Mr. Schauffele, please read the title of HJR 1024.
House Joint Resolution 1024 by Representatives Winter and Story and Senators Pelton R. and Mullica concerning the installation on the state capitol grounds of a memorial to the victims of the Sand Creek Massacre of November 29, 1864.
Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Joint Resolution 1024 and ask that it be read at length.
Mr. Schauffele, please read HJR 1024 at length.
Whereas Colorado is the traditional homeland of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people, And whereas in 1864, bands of Cheyenne and Arapaho people were directed to move to a camping location on Big Sandy Creek, also known as Sand Creek, which was within their ratified treaty lands near present-day Eads, Colorado. And whereas Cheyenne and Arapaho chiefs had engaged in peace talks with the United States government and the approximately 750 Cheyenne and Arapaho people at Sand Creek, including the camps of Chief Black Kettle, White Antelope, and Left Hand, believed that they would not come to harm where they were settled at Sand Creek. And whereas on November 29, 1864, as approximately 675 United States Colorado volunteer soldiers approached the encampment at Sand Creek, Chief Black Kettle raised an American flag and a white flag of peace on a lodgepole, as he had been instructed to by military leaders. And whereas despite assurance to the Cheyenne and Arapaho people that they would be safe under the American flag, and despite the symbols of peace displayed by Chief Black Kettle, United States soldiers from the 1st Colorado Volunteer Cavalry and the 3rd Colorado Volunteer Cavalry, commanded by Colonel John Chivington, attacked the encampment at Sand Creek. And whereas Colonel Chivington ordered his troops to take no prisoners, killing about 230 Cheyenne and Arapaho people, mostly women, children, and the elderly. And whereas after the massacre, Colonel Chivington and his troops paraded scalps and other mutilated body parts through downtown Denver. And whereas Captain Silas Sewell of the 1st Colorado Volunteer Cavalry was so disturbed by what he witnessed at Sand Creek that he wrote a letter to his superior that played a pivotal role in investigations led by a military commission, a special joint committee, and the Congressional Joint Committee on the Conduct of War, leading to condemnation of the Sand Creek Massacre at all 3 hearings. And whereas the Sand Creek Massacre of November 29, 1864 forever altered the Cheyenne and Arapaho way of life, severely impacted the traditional knowledge, language, social structures, ceremonies, songs, language, and governing councils of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people, and profoundly influenced United States tribal relations. And whereas in 1909, almost 50 years after the Sand Creek Massacre, the state erected and unveiled a monument entitled On Guard, and commonly known as the Union Soldier or Civil War Monument, dedicated to Colorado soldiers who fought in the Civil War. And whereas designed by Captain John D. Howland, a frontier artist and veteran of the Union Army, the Civil War Monument consists of a bronze statue of a Civil War soldier standing on a stone base with bronze plaques that reference facts and dates about Colorado territory and statehood, the names and dates of Colorado soldiers who died in the Civil War, and Colorado's military organizations in the Civil War, including the dates and names of battles and engagements in 1864. And whereas for many years there have been differences in how groups and individuals have interpreted the meaning of the Civil War Monument, because although Union cavalry fought and lost their lives to end slavery and famously thwarted Confederate troops at the Battle of Glorieta Pass in New Mexico in 1862, the Civil War Monument also includes Sand Creek among the battles and engagements listed on one of its bronze plaques, and it memorializes some of the same cavalry units, including those of Colonel Chivington, who perpetrated the Sand Creek Massacre. And whereas members of the Colorado General Assembly consulted with tribal leaders and enacted Colorado Senate Joint Resolution 99-017, which added an interpretive plaque to the Civil War Monument explaining the mischaracterization of the Sand Creek Massacre as a battle and the struggle of the people of Colorado to interpret and take responsibility for this past. And whereas the Civil War Monument was severely damaged when, on June 25, 2020, the Union soldier statue was toppled, the statue and base were defaced, and the soldier's saber was stolen. And whereas since the Union soldier statue was toppled, History Colorado has displayed the damaged statue as part of a larger exhibit considering the role of statues in remembering history. And whereas there is genuine concern that if the state returns the Union soldier statue to its original location, it would again be vandalized. And whereas the former location of the Union soldier statue on the west grounds of the state capitol is an appropriate location for a memorial of the Sand Creek Massacre to respect and memorialize the Cheyenne and Arapaho people and their ancestors, promote cross-cultural understanding, and educate the public about the massacre and the events surrounding it to foster healing. And whereas in the tradition of such educational and interpretive efforts, the National Park Service established by an act of Congress the Sand Creek Massacre National Historic Site in 2007 to preserve the massacre site to enhance public awareness and understanding and to assist in preventing similar tragedies from occurring in the future. And whereas the Northern Cheyenne Tribe of Montana, the Northern Arapaho Tribe of Wyoming, and the Cheyenne and Arapaho Tribes of Oklahoma organized the annual Sand Creek Massacre Spiritual Healing Run in 1999 that begins in Eads, Colorado, and ends on the western steps of the state capitol to remember what the Cheyenne and Arapaho people endured and to honor those killed. And whereas Senate Joint Resolution 17-016 approved the placement of a Sand Creek Massacre Memorial on the grounds of the state capitol, pending approval of the final design and specific location. And whereas in 2020, the Capitol Building Advisory Committee approved an initial design and recommended that it be placed on the west plaza of the state capitol grounds, but in 2022, the artist withdrew that design from consideration. And whereas the Sand Creek Massacre Memorial Committee, which is made up of representatives from the Northern Cheyenne Tribe of Montana, the Northern Arapaho Tribe of Wyoming, and the Cheyenne and Arapaho Tribes of Oklahoma, artists, a historian, an architectural advisor, a sculptor, and a project manager, recommended a new design for a Sand Creek Massacre Memorial that was submitted to the Capitol Building Advisory Committee for review in accordance with state law. And whereas on November 25th, 2024, the Capitol Building Advisory Committee unanimously approved the new design of the Sand Creek Massacre Memorial and recommended that it be placed on the west grounds of the state capitol, and in accordance with state law, submitted the proposal to the Capitol Development Committee and the governor for consideration. And whereas the Capitol Development Committee also approved the design and location of the Sand Creek Massacre Memorial, and pursuant to legislative custom and practice, requested a joint resolution of the General Assembly to formalize the approval and location of the Sand Creek Massacre Memorial and the long-term loan of the Union soldier to the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 75th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the Senate concurring herein, that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, acknowledge the devastation caused by the Sand Creek Massacre and seek to raise public awareness about this tragedy and to memorialize the victims of the massacre and honor the Cheyenne and Arapaho people. And that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, approve of the plan recommended by the State Capitol Building Advisory Committee, the Capitol Development Committee, and the Governor for the installation of the Sand Creek Massacre Memorial on the west grounds of the State Capitol, and for the long-term loan of the Union Soldier statue to the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs for public display on the department's campus or another appropriate location. Be it further resolved that copies of this joint resolution be transmitted to the Governor, the State Capitol Building Advisory Committee, the Capitol Development Committee, the Sand Creek Massacre Foundation, the Sand Creek Massacre Memorial Committee, the Northern Cheyenne Tribe of Montana, the Northern Arapaho Tribe of Wyoming, the Cheyenne and Arapaho Tribes of Oklahoma, History Colorado, the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, and the Department of Personnel.
Senator Mulliken.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, please be seated. To our honored guests, the representatives of the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations. On November 29th, 1864, at a place called Sand Creek, more than 230 Cheyenne and Arapaho people, most of them women, children, and elders, were slaughtered in one of the darkest moments in Colorado's history. They had raised the American flag in good faith, believing they were under the protection of the United States. Instead, they were met with betrayal, bullets, and brutality. This was not a battle, it was a massacre. And it happened under the banner of this very state, long before we stood in these chambers, but not beyond our responsibility. This resolution is more than symbolic. It is a recognition that truth matters, that the foundations of justice require honesty, even and especially when the truth is hard. We cannot undo what happened at Sand Creek, but we can choose to not look away. This resolution and memorial ensures that we do just that. We can listen to the descendants who still carry the weight of this mourning in their bones. We can commit to the protection of sacred sites, to the preservation of culture, and to a future that does not just remember indigenous history, but respects indigenous sovereignty. Our hope is that this resolution and memorial will be a turning point, a moment when Colorado says we are not afraid to confront our past because we believe in a more just and honest future. To the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, we see you, we honor you, and we walk forward, not ahead of you, but with you. May this be the beginning of a more faithful Colorado, one that earns the trust of all of its people every single day.
Senator Mulliken.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would also like to recognize some folks that we have here with us today from the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. Would Otto Braided Hair please stand? Chris Tallbear. Gail Ridgely. Eleni Skleventis. Gerald Shippen. Catherine Redhorse. Don DePrince. Jennifer Lewis, and any Cheyenne and Arapaho descendants of the Sand Creek Massacre. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us this ability, and thank you for standing with us as we make sure that this moment in our state history is never forgotten. Members, please join me in welcoming these folks to the chamber.
Further discussion. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in support of this resolution. There's a commemorative little coin, metal acknowledgement, right where Camp Weld once stood, that's in my district on the west side of Denver. And I've ridden my bike along the Platte many times, and 2 summers ago stopped to pause and to take a look at that landmark. And that landmark acknowledged, Camp Weld acknowledged the promises that were made, and thereafter the promises that were broken, that resulted in the genocidal slaughter of Cheyenne and Arapaho peoples. That act of betrayal, so profound, was not successful because you all are here today. And you all continue to speak for your communities, to honor the legacies of those who tried to believe the Colorado government, who tried to believe the United States government, and committed the grave act of taking the US and the Colorado government at their words. Thank you all for continuing to be here. There have been a number of policies over just the past few years that seek to acknowledge the ways in which the Colorado state government has not treated Indigenous communities with the care and respect and deference that you all deserve and require. There are now policies under consideration that create the opportunity for trust and reconciliation, but if not treated with the proper respect and care, that also have the opportunity to create new iterations now, today, of disconnection, of misunderstanding, and of broken promises. What happened then cannot be repeated now. What I will say to you all now is that as we remember the harm that our government caused, that resulted in the relocation of the Cheyenne and Arapaho peoples to reservations not in Colorado, but acknowledging that sacred sites and history took place in land now known as Colorado. How dare we not do everything to be more thoughtful, intentional, and careful? Let us acknowledge the past, and let us not recreate those mistakes again.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Danielson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, colleagues, and I will be brief. I just wanted to say welcome to our honored guests. My name is Jessie Danielson, and I first got to know you all, some familiar faces in the room, some new, when we worked together on the bill to ban the use of mascots. And there wasn't one of those lengthy conversations that didn't include discussions about the Sand Creek Massacre. And it was tribal leadership, primarily from the Northern Arapaho at the time, but also elders from the broader community that were on our Zooms, because remember, we were in COVID. And I want to tell you how much pride I'm going to feel when I see the new monument, or the new memorial, I suppose, because it is the product of years of effort by the people in this room and the communities that they represent. It is deeply meaningful, and I am so grateful to you for your work on this specific issue, but also your work on other issues, whether it was missing and murdered Indigenous relatives, or ICWA, or mascots. We have been united, and I have been so very grateful for your counsel and guidance, and for our ongoing relationship. And so I just wanted to say thank you today, and I'm honored to vote yes and co-sponsor this measure. And please come back and see us soon.
Further discussion? Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I renew my motion for passage of House Joint Resolution 1024.
The motion is the adoption of HJR 1024. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, HJR 1024 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the current roll call be added as co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors. The Senate will stand in a brief recess to greet our guests. Senate will come back to order. Proceeding out of order, Majority Leader Rodriguez. He said, "Who was calling me? This is the voice from above."
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate proceed out of order for moments of personal privilege.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege, even though there was one slight no vote. Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we are, yes. Thank you to my colleague to my right here from Greenwood Village. Mr. President, I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, colleagues, hey, we're joined today to celebrate World Quantum Day by our friends from the University of Colorado. It is today, April 14. I'm going to act like I knew this all along, but actually I've been coached by the smart people from National Institute of Standards and Technology and Quantinuum, and that today, the reason that today is World Quantum Day is because Max Planck from 1900, the year 1900, he came up with the word quantum, and he expressed the energy expression being, well, I had it here earlier. Anyway, for the Planck constant, thank you very much. So you ought to be explaining that. The Planck constant, which can be expressed as 4/14. So today we are joined from the University of Colorado by Regent Callie Renison, CU Boulder Chancellor Justin Schwartz, Massimo Ruzzini, Senior Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation, Scott Sternberg, Executive Director of the Qubit Quantum Initiative, as well as our friends from Elevate Quantum, Jesse Olson, Wendy Lee, and Andrew Wilson from the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Today we honor Colorado's outsized role in shaping the future of quantum science. World Quantum Day celebrates the transformative power of quantum science, an area where Colorado leads the nation. Colleagues, please have a chair. I'll call for a welcome for them in just a few minutes. Colorado institutions like CU, University of Colorado, and JILA at the university, NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, are internationally recognized for their contributions to quantum physics, and Colorado is the home to 4 winners of the Nobel Prize in Physics for quantum breakthroughs that shifted global understanding in the field. In October 2023, Colorado, led by Elevate Quantum, earned a regional Phase 1 Tech Hub designation under the Federal CHIPS Act and Science Act, enabling Colorado to compete for new funds to develop the quantum technology industry. Colorado's quantum industry already supports nearly 3,000 workers with the potential to grow to over 10,000 jobs within the decade. The quantum sector is booming with over 30 cutting-edge companies, more private investment, and more deployed quantum technologies than any other state. Recent efforts have secured over $120 million in funding to expand the industry in Colorado and across the Mountain West. So we're now in a competitive position to secure new funding and maintain our leadership as a national hub for quantum innovation. So let's recognize our researchers, our entrepreneurs, the visionaries, and recommend supporting the bold ideas that define our state's future. Thank you to Governor Polis for proclaiming today as Quantum Day here in Colorado. And now, please help me in welcoming our guests.
Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. Request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Please, everyone, sit down while I explain the Planck constant. So, Planck's constant describes the relationship between the energy and frequency of a quantum of energy, such as a photon, 4.14 times 10 minus 15 eV times S. I'm sure I didn't get those letters right, but that's what I read. In the same way that 314 is pi day, because pi is 3.14159, and I have a friend who knows 1,000 digits of it, but I don't, so I'll stop there. Today is Quantum Day, and this is a big deal in Colorado because in the same way that the Silicon Valley has owned the internet, here in Colorado, we are owning quantum. And quantum right now is essentially the internet in the 80s. Multi-user dungeons, this like text-based game where you typed. It was like World of Warcraft, but in text in the 80s. It was like the start of the internet, and now you can order a car on your phone. So this is where quantum is right now. Quantum is in the same place that the internet was in the 80s. We have no idea the changes that are going to be wrought in our world because of this. We know that they will be large. At some point, we are going to use a super precise clock to figure out exactly which step out there is a mile above sea level, because this is the important burning questions that we need answered. Quantum is already generating proteins in medical research, navigation. GPSs are a huge part. Getting the timing right is a huge part of how we have accurate location data. This is going to change the world, and Colorado is at the core of it. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you all for being here. Welcome to the Senate. Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, everybody. We should have maybe teamed up, because this is turning out to be Callie Renison Day in the Senate. But today actually is our colleagues from the Boulder are here. And while I don't think anybody was going to give you a quantum, we are going to give you a T-shirt. So I would like for you all to welcome Boulder founder and advisor Stephen Bosley, Boulder Race Director Cliff Bosley, CU Regent Callie Renison, and CU Boulder Chancellor Justin Schwartz. So let's give them all a big round of applause. I live in Boulder, and for all the years that the Boulder has been happening, I have been there. I have run in the Boulder. I have watched it from my front porch with my kids. And finally, in the last years of my business, we were exhibitors at the fair at the Boulder. And we saw all of our friends there, and we made money selling our water bottles. People would come up with like a $10 bill in their bra and hand it to us to buy 2 water bottles. And it was like, ew, do we have to? But we did. It is a legend in Boulder. It brings 90,000 runners and spectators and family members to Boulder every year. It is a major economic driver, but also a huge promoter of all of the businesses in Boulder that are in the outdoor space. And your T-shirts are in the back somewhere, I'm not sure where. And there's plenty also for the staff and for anyone who wants one. It is America's all-time best 10K by Runner's World magazine. It's one of the largest Memorial Day tributes in the United States, honoring American warriors who have made the ultimate sacrifice. It was, in 2024, the 4th largest running event in the US. And so it does a lot of things. And if you haven't been, you should come. And if you want to run, you should run. You can also walk. You could crawl. You could take a cab. I've done kind of all those things. I used to live on the course. And so one year I just went home halfway through. Thought, yeah, that's good. But also you can see the jets flying over and the people parachuting in with the flags. It is an incredible day for patriotism and all the things that we really honor here in Colorado. So thank you for being here. Thanks for the shirts. And thank you all for going and welcoming our guests from the Boulder.
Welcome again, and thank you all for being here. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over special order second reading of bills to Tuesday, April the 15th.
The motion is lay over special orders. Second reading of bills, calendar Tuesday, April 15, 2025. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The special order second reading of bills calendar will lay over until Tuesday, April 15, 2025. Third reading of bills consent calendar. Mr. Schaffler, please read the titles of all the bills on the consent calendar. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before they start announcing them, Senate Bill 279 has been requested to be pulled off and at the bottom of third reading of bill's final passage.
Senate Bill 279 will be removed from the third reading of the bill's consent calendar and placed on the third reading of bill's final passage calendar. Now, Mr. Schaffler, please read the titles of all the bills on third reading of bill's consent calendar.
House Bill 1200 by Representatives Foray and Armagost and Senators Cutter and Bright concerning modifications to the Office of the Child Protection Ombudsman. House Bill 1184 by Representatives Pascal and Hartsook and Senators Roberts and Carson concerning community-based continuing care services for seniors awaiting admission to a life care institution. House Bill 1162 by Representative Foray and Senator Doherty concerning redetermination of eligibility for individuals enrolled in the State Medical Assistance Program. House Bill 1175 by Representatives Leader and Joseph and Senator Rodriguez concerning the establishment of an opt-in program for smart meters installed by a qualifying retail unit. Senate Bill 116 by Senator Snyder and Frizzell and Representatives Duran and Armagost concerning spousal maintenance guidelines to protect victims of domestic violence. House Bill 1031 by Representatives Bacon and Clifford and Senators Roberts and Pelton B concerning a prohibition on whistleblower retaliation and law enforcement. Senate Bill 275 by Senators Ball and Catlin and Representatives Luck and Espinosa concerning the relocation of certain existing definitions in the Colorado Revised Statutes to aid the reader in ascertaining their applicability to the proper sections of law. Senate Bill 274 by Senators Rodriguez and Lundin and Representatives Lindstedt and Hartsook concerning changes to the delivery requirements for wine direct shipping by alcohol beverage shipper licensees. Senate Bill 271 by Senators Ball and Rich and Representatives Espinosa and Luck concerning the repeal of Part 3 of Article 13.3 of Title 8 Colorado Revised Statutes containing obsolete provisions relating to the study of a paid family and medical leave program. House Bill 1108 by Representatives Weinberg and Mabry and Senators Kirkmeyer and Bridges concerning limitations on residential rental agreement terms in the event of the death of an individual who is responsible for the payment of rent. Senate Bill 203 by Senators Exum and Catlin and Representatives Bradley and Carter concerning clarifying the Department of Public Health and Environment's authority to use appropriated money for project grants concerning public water system projects for small communities. Senate Bill 202 by Senator Exum and Rich and Representatives Bradley and Espinosa concerning the repeal of an obsolete provision that required the Department of Public Health and Environment to award grants by July 2007. House Bill 1270 by Representatives Puglisi and Gilchrist and Senators Kirkmeyer and Doherty concerning granting eligible patients the right to try individualized investigational medical treatments. House Bill 1180 by Representatives Duran and Armagost and Senators Bright and Roberts concerning prohibiting certain transfers of pet animals in public spaces. House Bill 1014 by Representatives Johnson and Lukens and Senators Roberts and Simpson concerning measures to increase efficiency and division of water resources processes. House Bill 1115 by Representatives McCluskey and Soper and Senators Roberts and Catlin concerning the Colorado Water Conservation Board's administration of a water supply measurement program and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the passage of all the bills on third reading of bill's final passage consent calendar, which are House Bill 1200, House Bill 1184, House Bill 1162, House Bill 1175, Senate Bill 116, House Bill 1031, Senate Bill 275, Senate Bill 274, Senate Bill 271, House Bill 1108, Senate Bill 203, Senate Bill 202, House Bill 1270, House Bill 1180, House Bill 1014, and House Bill 1115.
Any discussion on any of these bills? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of all the bills on third reading of the bill's consent calendar. Are there any no votes? Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request to be counted as a no vote on the following 5 bills: House Bill 1200, House Bill 1162, Senate Bill 116, House Bill 1180, and House Bill 1115.
Senator Baisley recorded as a no vote on House Bills 1200, House Bills 1162, House Bills 1180, and House Bill 1115, and Senate Bill 116.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You got it. Okay. Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask to be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1175.
Senator Ball will be recorded as a no vote on House Bill 1175. With a vote of 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1200 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Judah, Michelson Janae, Gonzalez, Wallace, Kipp, Exum, please add the president. With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1184 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Judah, Michelson Janae, Winter, Kipp, Frizzell, Mullica. Please add the president. With a vote of 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1162 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Michelson Janae, Judah, Wallace, Cutter, Weissman, Amabile, Kipp, Exum, Mullica, please add the president. With a vote of 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1175 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Judah, with a vote of 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 116 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Michelson Janae, Weissman, Judah, Wallace, Amabile, Exum, Gonzalez, Sullivan, Ball, Kipp, Cutter, Henriksen. Please add the president. With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1031 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Michelson Janae, Winter, Kipp, Wallace, Judah, Gonzalez, Cutter, Weissman, Henriksen, Ball, Snyder, Colker, Bridges, Exum, Mullica. Please add the president. With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 275 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Mullica, with a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 274 is passed. Co-sponsors, Kipp, with a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 271 is passed. Co-sponsors, with a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent to excuse. House Bill 1108 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Gonzalez, Judah, Amabile, Exum, Cutter, Michelson Janae, Weissman, Henriksen, with a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent to excuse, Senate Bill 203 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Roberts, Judah, Michelson Janae, Amabile, Cutter, Kip. Please add the president. With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent to excuse, Senate Bill 202 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Mullica, please add the president. With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent to excuse, House Bill 1270 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Judah, Michelson Janae, Amabile, Cutter, Wallace, Kip, Henriksen, Frizzell, Simpson, Catlin, Roberts, Bright, Pelton B, with a vote of 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent to excuse, House Bill 1180 is passed. Co-sponsors. With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent to excuse, House Bill 1014 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Amabile, Catlin, Judah, Michelson Janae, Cutter, Kip, Winter, with a vote of 32 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent to excuse, House Bill 1115 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Michelson Janae, Amabile, Winter, Cutter, Rich, Simpson, Frizzell, Pelton B, Judah, Wallace, Kirkmeyer, Weissman, Bridges, Kip, third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to Senate Bill 054.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah, it looks good.
Hello. I do. I do wish. Man, this is actually a little, maybe too tall. Never been. No such thing.
Senate Bill 054 by Senator Simpson and Bridges and Representatives Martinez and McCormick concerning the regulation of mining activities and in connection therewith creating a new permit type to facilitate the cleanup of abandoned mine waste piles, updating forfeiture and warranty procedures, ratifying Colorado's membership in the Interstate Mining Compact and the Interstate Mining Commission, and making an appropriation.
Senator Simpson, I don't know what it is, but you look like you're crouching. Senator Simpson.
I grew, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 54 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion? Seeing none. The motion is the passage of Senate Bill 054. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 054 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Winter, Judah, Catlin, Kipp, Wallace, Cutter, Amabile, Exum, Snyder, Ball. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 168.
Senate Bill 168 by Senators Bright and Roberts and Representatives Armagost and Espinosa concerning the prevention of illegal wildlife trafficking.
Senator Bright.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the passage of Senate Bill 168 on third reading.
Further discussion? Seeing none. Are you standing up tall on something, Senator Roberts? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was still there. No.
Too much.
I'm so sorry, Senator Bright. Seeing no further discussion, the motion
I'll be back.
is the passage of Senate Bill 168. Are there any no votes? Senators Rich, Baisley, with a vote of 31 ayes, 2 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 168 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Wallace, Kipp, Winter, Judah, Michelson Janae, Cutter, Bridges, Amabile, Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 187.
Senate Bill 187 by Senators Henderson and Sullivan and Representatives Martinez and Weinberg concerning the continuation of the motorcycle operator safety training program in the Office of the Chief of the State Patrol and in the Department of Public Safety, and in connection therewith implementing the sunset review recommendations of the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 187 on third reading and final passage.
Discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 187. Are there any no votes? There is 1 no vote. Senator Baisley, 2 no votes. Senator Carson. Mr. Minority Leader, with a vote of 30 ayes, 3 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 187 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Winter, Kipp, Cutter, correction on Senate Bill 187. Mr. Schaffler, please mark the Minority Leader as an aye vote. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 197.
Senate Bill 197 by Senator Exum and Representative Bacon concerning changes to the Tony Grampsis Youth Services Program and in connection therewith making and reducing an appropriation.
Yeah, Tony Grampsis. Never heard of this before. Senator Exum.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 197 on third reading and final passage. Add for aye vote.
Man, what a great bill. The motion is the passage of Senate Bill 197. Are there any no votes? What? Senators Rich, Baisley, with a vote of 31 ayes, 2 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 197 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Michaels and Janae,
This is how,
Wallace,
this is how Dylan
That's
Roberts
how Dylan sees the world.
Winter,
and Simpson,
Judah, Cutter,
whatever. We don't,
Amabile,
we don't need it.
Weissman,
It just feels like too much.
Henriksen,
This is why it does, doesn't it?
Sullivan,
I can't even read this from here.
Snyder, Roberts. Any other? Oh, Kip. Gonzalez. Can anyone see any other co-sponsor? Hands up. Anyone else? Oh, Senator Mullica. Please add Senator Mullica as a co-sponsor. And please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1211.
House Bill 1211 by Representative Stewart and Leader and Senators Bridges and Kirkmeyer concerning the provision of water service by special districts and in connection therewith requiring a special district to satisfy certain requirements when establishing the amount of a tap fee.
Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1211 on third reading and final passage.
Discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1211. Are there any no votes? Senators Rich, Frizzell, Baisley, Catlin, Carson, Roberts, with a vote of 27 ayes, 6 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1211 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Amabile, Henriksen, Wallace, Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to House Bill 1248. Bless you.
House Bill 1248 by Representative Stewart and Zakai and Senators Kipp and Michelson Janae concerning the administration of disciplinary measures in public schools.
Senator Michelson Janae.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1248 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1248. Are there any no votes? Senators Rich, Kirkmeyer, Baisley, Frizzell, Catlin, Carson, Bright, Simpson, Pelton B, Mr. Minority Leader. With a vote of 23 ayes, 10 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, House Bill 1248 is passed. Co-sponsors.
What's that? Do you want to ask? No, you go ahead and ask.
Senators Winter,
I request permission.
Cutter,
for a third reading amendment.
Amabile. Please add the president. General orders. 279 moved over. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 279.
Senate Bill 279 by Senators Ball and Pelton B and Representatives Duran and Hartsick concerning updates to the Colorado Code of Military Justice.
Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request permission to offer a third reading amendment.
Senator Ball, please tell us why you want a third reading amendment.
We amended this bill in committee, but did not take out a cross-reference that the drafter caught after we had gone through seconds. So this simply removes a cross-reference that's no longer necessary from the bill.
I don't know, y'all. The question for the body is Senator Ball's request for permission to offer a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. That's right, that's right. But it sounds like the ayes have it, my hearing's bad, and permission is granted. Mr. Schaffler, there's a member of the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title, L003.
Amendment L003, amend a gross bill, in gross bill page 2 before add insert amend 20, and page 2 after line 9 insert 20. State military forces means the National Guard of this state. Strike as defined in section 28-3-101-12, and any...
Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Amendment L003.
To the amendment, Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I explained, this amendment deletes text that's no longer relevant after amendments that were passed in committee.
Further discussion on this amendment. Senator Pelton B.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just asked for a little patience with the good senator from Denver. He's new, and we're working with him, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I don't know if that helps, but the motion is the adoption of L003 on Senate Bill 279. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, L003 to 279 is adopted. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 279. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 279 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Michelson Janae, Wallace, Weissman, Cutter, Mullica, Kip, Winter, Judah, Gonzalez, Exum, was that a stretch? Snyder. Please add the president. Now, general orders, second reading of the bills. Consent calendar. Senator Mullica?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That motion is adopted. The Senate resolve itself in Committee of the Whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Mullica will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of the bill on the general order, second reading, bills, consent calendar?
Senate Bill 277 by Senators Judah and Cutter and Representatives Ryden and Woodrow concerning the repeal of the Title Insurance Commission and in connection therewith implementing the recommendation in the 2024 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the passage of the bill on general order, second reading of bill consent calendar, which is Senate Bill 277 and the Business, Labor, and Technology Report.
Is there any discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the committee report on the general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee report is adopted. Is there any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of the bill on general order, second reading of bills, consent calendar. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had a bill under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
April 14, 2025. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report has had under consideration the following attached bill, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 277, as amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 277 is amended, passed the second reading, order engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General orders. Second reading of bills. Senator Mullica.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself in the committee of the whole for the consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Senate. That motion's adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself in the committee of the whole consideration of general orders, I think. Second reading of bills, and Senator Mullica will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed for everyone. Will the clerk please read the title to Mr. Majority Leader?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the Senate lay over Senate Bill 201 until Thursday, May the 8th.
The motion before the body is to lay over Senate Bill 201. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Senate Bill 201 will be laid over to Thursday, May the 8th. Okay. Okay. That is laid over till May the 8th. Will the clerk please read the title of the House Bill 1197?
House Bill 1197 by Representatives Smith and Taggart and Senators Amabile and Ball concerning requirements related to electrical-assisted bicycles offered for sale in the state.
Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1197.
Senator Ball, do you have a motion?
I do. I move House Bill 1197.
That is a proper motion. To the bill. Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1197 is a bill around the labeling of electric bicycles, and it targets the gray area between electric bicycles and bicycles that can be modified to be used as scooters or motorcycles. The bicycles that can be used as scooters or motorcycles, you need to be at least 16 to be able to ride. So this essentially requires some labeling that makes clear which bikes can be modified so that we can help police this area where there are these electric bikes being purchased and then modified and ridden unlawfully.
Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we had a lot of good conversation in committee about this bill, and somebody said, oh, it's just another sticker bill, and you know who you are. It's not. It does do that, but it also does add a lot of protections, and what we're trying to do is raise awareness about what's an e-bike and what's not an e-bike, and what bikes are allowed for kids under 16 and what bikes aren't. Because I think a lot of parents are buying these bikes for their kids and they think they'll be all covered, and they won't. If you buy your kid a bike that can be modified to go 28, 30, 35 miles an hour, that is not going to be covered in the event of an accident. And also just to raise awareness about e-bikes in general, and to make sure that people aren't riding these hopped up bikes on the trails where they're not allowed, or on the bike paths where they're not allowed. And we are seeing a huge proliferation of e-bikes, and I think that's good. Like, I think it's just great the kids have a way to get themselves to school, and that adults who otherwise wouldn't get out on a bike are getting out on a bike because they can get an e-bike. And I want to promote all of that. I want to make sure that this industry grows and thrives. And one of the things I've mentioned in committee is I spent 25 years of my life in the bike industry. And we went to all the bike shows, and we saw the evolution and the beginnings of e-bikes and the resistance at the beginning, and then the acceptance, and now it's really taking off. I went to this thing called the Bicycle Leadership Conference in Monterey every year, and all the super athletes would be in the bike kits, and they'd be on their bikes, and they were riding in a group. And one year, my friend, who's now an RTD board director, and I got e-bikes. And they were way ahead of us, but we were just in our regular clothes, and we start riding up to them, and then we catch them, and they were like, "See ya, suckers," and we passed them all. And it was fun, and it was funny, and this is the industry that I really want to make sure thrives. So I hope you'll all vote yes on House Bill 1197.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1190? Senator Rich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And concerning this bill, House Bill 251197, and before I start, I'll tell you I have an e-bike. I have a road bike. I love to ride my bicycles, but I think this is an unnecessary burden on the e-bike retailers, and it's another example of frivolous overregulation. These requirements will translate into higher consumer costs, and it would be nice if we tried to look at a bill to lower these costs instead of continuing to raise them. So I'm going to be a no vote on this bill, and I ask for a no vote from my colleagues.
Senator Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the sponsors. I did get to listen to this conversation last week in committee, and it's great to improve public awareness. Part of the bill that I really struggled with and was challenged around was another example of you're potentially subject to deceptive trade practices if you don't fail to comply with the labeling requirements of the bill. And I just found that just a bridge too far for me. Very interested in trying to educate the public about the differences in the different classes of those electric bikes, and appreciate the sponsor's willingness to have that conversation, but to include yet another deceptive trade practice in statute. Again, routinely we put black letters on white pages in those red books that have meaning to consumers across the state, and for that reason I'm not supportive of this bill. Thank you to the sponsors again. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Mobley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will just say, and with all due respect to my colleagues, and I understand where you're coming from, we did stakehold the bill with bicycle manufacturers, with bicycle stores, and with bicycle enthusiasts around the state. And our Senate sponsor is the good senator from our House sponsor is the good representative from Grand Junction, who is an incredible bicycle enthusiast and bicycle racer and all those things. So I think there was good acceptance of the language that we settled on. I ask for a yes vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage of House Bill 1197. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1197 is passed. Will the clerk please read the title of the House Bill 1228?
House Bill 1228 by Representatives Barone and Lindsay and Senators Roberts and Kirkmeyer concerning the sustainability of state transportation infrastructure.
Go for it.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1228.
That is a proper motion to the bill. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I might still be taller. Yeah.
No, is he taller than you?
He's taller than you.
Now?
Sorry.
Now is he? I need a book.
Pleased to be here to present the House Bill 1228 with the good senator from Weld County. This bill actually just makes a very simple change, but it could have very important long-term benefits for the Department of Transportation and our state infrastructure and the costs that go into it. It changes the definition of best value to allow the department the Department of Transportation, to consider long-term sustainability and resiliency of the products and materials that they are purchasing. So rather than just the upfront costs, if they can see that a certain product might be a little more expensive at the beginning but will last a lot longer, that they can consider that best value for purposes of their budgeting and purchasing. So a simple change to a definition that could have very positive economic and financial impacts for the state.
Seeing Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. For the bill sponsors' question, I like this concept of best value. I like the flexibility that we're seeking to give the CDOT. The question I have is, how far do we go in determining best value? For instance, would we identify repairing and maintaining the roads of Colorado to be of a higher value than building bike lanes? Would we perceive to building and maintaining the roads and bridges of Colorado to be higher value than seeking to construct further slimly used multimodal types of transportation? Can we really lean into this and seek best value for the people of Colorado by virtue of a bill of this nature?
Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would love to do that. However, I don't think it would really fit into this bill at this time because we're talking about state transportation, the infrastructure, and that after evaluation factors are looked at in the specifications of a transportation project, so we're talking about the project itself, that then other things would be considered, such as sustainability and resiliency and long-term life cycle cost of the transportation project itself. Which are great benefits, again, to the state of Colorado when we look at all of these things together.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate the clarification that it's about a project. So I would make one plaintive cry to my colleagues that we seek to define and build more projects that are fundamental to the way the people of Colorado are choosing to move themselves and move their commerce across the state of Colorado. More roads and bridges, less multimodal. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage of House Bill 1228. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1228 is passed. Will the clerk please read the title of the Senate Bill 282?
Senate Bill 282 by Senators Ball and Pelton B. and Representative Foray, concerning persons who provide services related to veterans' benefits claims and in connection therewith establishing that certain actions by such persons are deceptive trade practices under the Colorado Consumer Protection
How many
Act.
amendments do we have? Just this one?
Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 28282.
And the...
And the committee report.
To the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee report.
So on the committee report, we just, we added a few, no, we didn't. Did we add a few amendments? Yes, we did. We did. Yeah, we went to the, yeah, sorry. So on the, yes, thank you. We did add one amendment that we were doing instead of 20%, we went to 25%, and then up to $9,200. So that's what we did, and to make sure that veterans were able to, or the businesses could still stay in business, we were just asking for them to charge the veteran 25% instead of 20%. So that's what we were doing.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the adoption of the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee report is adopted. To the bill. Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And you have to excuse my co-sponsor.
Nope.
And who's here representing the Navy. I'm here representing the Army. And so we'll be in the lead, as we always are. There's been a campaign against this bill that I know some of my colleagues have heard about, so I thought I would take a moment to explain what this bill is and what the broader context is. So under federal law, it is legal to help veterans with their benefit claims if you are accredited by the VA. If you're accredited, you can't charge any money with the initial filing of the claim, but you can charge 20% of the back pay if you successfully represent the veteran on appeal. The reason accredited representatives can't charge money to file an initial claim is because veterans get that service for free. Veteran Services Officers, or VSOs, are available free of charge to any veteran who needs help with their claim. VSOs are fantastic. I'll give a special shout out to the VSO who helped me raise my benefits, Diane Ricci. But the truth is that the VSO system has holes. Across the state, access to trained and accredited VSOs varies dramatically. According to an audit issued by the Colorado DMVA in 2022, training and supervision of VSOs in Colorado is very uneven. So veterans in some regions wait weeks while others get immediate service. Deciphering the VA rating system and navigating the benefits process is not always easy, so if you don't have access to a good VSO, you might not get access to the benefits that you are entitled to. Bottom line, veterans are not getting their needs met. And while federal law prohibits unaccredited agents or attorneys from helping veterans with their benefits claims, Congress removed the ability to enforce that provision in 2006. So an unregulated market of unaccredited actors has emerged. They claim that they're not breaking the law because they aren't agents or attorneys who represent people before the VA. They're just consultants who never formally enter the proceedings. It's kind of like saying that you're not practicing law as long as you have your client file the motions that you drafted for them. By some estimations, there are over 200 of these companies. We heard testimony that there were approximately 60. Some are run by good people who run honest businesses, including members of the veterans community. We have taken some of their suggestions and incorporated them into this bill, including the amendment that my co-sponsor just spoke about, which makes this bill more generous towards those groups. But there are bad actors in this space who take advantage of veterans by misleading them into believing that they are affiliated with the VA, misleading veterans into believing they can help expedite a claim with the VA. They don't have that power, and engaging in predatory pricing that leaves veterans in debt. It's what you would expect from an unregulated black market. Across the nation, there are two competing proposals, and this is true federally as well, to solve this problem. Traditional veterans organizations like the VFW have run bills that essentially ban this industry entirely. Those bills have passed in states like New Jersey and Maine, and one was introduced in the House this year, House Bill 1047. That bill died, and the industry brought a competing bill, House Bill 1233, and that bill is similar to bills that are written by the industry throughout the country. Only one has passed. That's in Louisiana. At the federal level, there is that same dichotomy. There is an all-or-nothing choice between a bill proposed that would ban this industry and a bill that is run by industry that would freeze their current pricing scheme into law. This bill is a compromise, and it is, as far as I know, the first compromise that has been brokered that has the support of the traditional veterans groups. This bill is supported by UVC, the United Veterans Coalition, which is made up of all of the veterans organizations that you know and love, the American Legion, the Disabled American Veterans, Military Officers Association of America, the Retired Enlisted Association, Veterans of Foreign Wars. I could go on. And those groups have come to the table to recognize that this is an industry that should exist. VSOs cannot meet the demand, and so there should be the ability to pay for help to secure VA benefits. That's what this bill does. It does not kill the industry, but it does place guardrails on the industry to include limiting how much they can charge veterans. In this bill, we mirror the rules that already exist in analogous spaces. SSI, SSDI, you can charge individuals 25% of their back pay to represent their initial claim, and this mirrors that exact system. That is a thriving market. If you need to find someone to represent you to apply for Social Security benefits, you can find someone. People who work in this industry have informed me that this would not kill the industry. They can abide by this pricing model. But what it will do is it will protect veterans first from very manipulative and predatory practices, but also from the status quo, which is that many veterans pay an insane amount of money for very little work. We had testimony in committee from VSOs that the average claim takes about 6 hours. For the average claim that takes that period of time, many of these organizations will charge veterans the equivalent of $1,500 an hour. That is more money than Chevron pays for their attorneys. For my claim, my VSO put in about 2 hours of work. I would have paid $6,500 under the pricing scheme that is used by these companies. So I think this is a great bill. It's a common sense bill. It protects veterans in an area where they need to be protected, and it will put Colorado on the forefront of being innovative in the best ways. I think this bill is a great example of finding compromises that other states have not been able to find, and I encourage you to vote yes.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry, I saw another veteran on the side. I thought he was preparing to speak. I was a no vote on this in committee, and I reject the claim that there is black market and unregulated entities out there impacting and looking after our veterans. I just think there's different ways of doing things. I think that there's companies out there that are doing fine jobs for people and have a very high success ratio and have, well, you don't get return customers in this, but people are very satisfied with the work that these companies do for them and recommend them to others. I think they should be allowed to continue to work in this space. So I'm going to be a no on this, and I'm already been, because of my activities down here at the General Assembly, been referred to as un-American, unpatriotic, shame to my military service. I am not a no on this against veterans. I just think that there should be more choices for the veterans, and that'll be the reason that I'm a no vote for this.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 282. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Senate Bill 282 is passed. Will the clerk please read the title of the House Bill 1080?
House Bill 1080 by Representatives Lukens and Soper and Senator Hendrickson concerning measures to incentivize the deployment of wireless telephone infrastructure in the state.
Senator Hendrickson. Senator Hendrickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1080. There is no committee report.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1080 comes out of the interim committee on cell phone connectivity, where there was a realization where one of the problems of our cell phone connectivity gaps is that there are local governments that want to be able to incentivize the deployment of cell phone technology in their jurisdiction where it makes sense and where it would be helpful to that jurisdiction. But one of the challenges of our state constitution is the property tax exemptions that would be most beneficial to creating those incentives require legislation allowing them to create such exemptions. So this bill does create those exemptions. If local governments were to so choose and to pursue it, they would be able to do so. Ask for an aye vote on House Bill 1080.
Senator Frizzell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And if I could just, I have great respect for the ability for local governments to incentivize businesses, business development, economic development locally. So that's not what I'm up here for, but I just had a couple of questions. So these companies that provide wireless infrastructure, or they are very typically what we call state assessed or centrally assessed. So they're not valued locally, they are valued, if it's a utility, they are valued by the state Division of Property Taxation. And so my question is that's not really part of what's in this bill, that particular valuation, which is extraordinarily unique to each company. It's not based on any other normal type of valuation methodology. It is actually based on the balance sheet, the income and expenses of that company itself. So it has to do with the economic viability of those companies. So from that perspective, the valuation of those businesses is very different. So I wanted to make sure that that was something that was included in this bill and in the contemplation of this bill. And then the other piece of it is, how did the treasurers weigh in on this when it comes to providing tax credits? So thank you.
Senator Hendrickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the questions for the good senator from Castle Rock. So, as introduced, this bill had a state nexus on the property valuation and the state level taxes associated with that. That drove a fiscal note higher than we anticipated, and not something that we, the sponsors, were willing to, while there would be benefits and incentives for that, the fiscal note, particularly in this environment, outweighed those benefits. So in conversations with local governments about scaling it back to being a local government option, and speaking with cell phone infrastructure technology companies, there was a strong sense that there are some municipalities, or some localities rather, that would still like this option, and there are some cell phone technology deployment companies that would still benefit from it, and it would be enough to impact business decisions that would be beneficial to those communities who want it. So that is what has been left. That is what remains of the bill. And that eliminates the state fiscal impact. And there was one other sort of associated, the treasurers. So, yeah, so I think that what we have left is, because we have local decisions impacting local finances, that would be a decision for that municipality or for that county, and for the treasurers to weigh in as the county or municipality is making those decisions for their jurisdiction.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage of House Bill 1080. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and House Bill 1080 is passed. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1283 until tomorrow, April the 15th.
The motion is to lay over House Bill 1283 to tomorrow, April 15th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1283 will be laid over until tomorrow, April 15th. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. Give Give me one sec, Mr. President. The committee has met and considered number of bills before them. Will the clerk please read the committee report?
April 14, 2025. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 282, as amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1197, House Bill 1228, House Bill 1080, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1283, laid over until April 15, 2025, and retaining its place on the calendar. Senate Bill 201, laid over until May 8, 2025, and retaining its place on the calendar.
Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 282 is amended, passed in second reading, order and gross and placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1197, House Bill 1228, House Bill 1080, passed in second reading, order revised and placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1283, laid over until 4/15/2025 and retaining its place on the calendar. Senate Bill 201, laid over until 5/8/2025 and retaining its place on the calendar. Special orders. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to take up special order second reading of bills, which consist of House Bill 1208, Senate Bill 18, Senate Bill 40, at the hour of 12:09 p.m.
The motion is the Senate take up those bills on special orders at the hour of 12:09 p.m. This requires a two-thirds vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Senate will take up those bills on special orders at the hour of 12:09 p.m. Special orders. Second reading of the bills. Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself in committee of the whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills, and Senator Mullica will take the chair.
Some magic happening here today.
I don't feel it.
You're not feeling the magic?
Oh, here, you want this?
Wait, let's do okay.
The Senate will come to order, and the court rule is relaxed for everyone. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1208?
House Bill 1208 by Representatives Woodrow and Valdez and Senators Amabile and Doherty, concerning increasing the amount of the tip offset associated with the local government's minimum wage and in connection therewith requiring a local government that enacts a local minimum wage that exceeds the state minimum wage to satisfy certain requirements in determining the amount of the tip offset associated with the local government's minimum wage.
Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1208.
That is a proper motion. Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think there's been a lot said about this bill, and even the title is, at this point, a little bit misleading because the bill really got pared down in the House, and it does just one thing, which is if a local government decides to raise their minimum wage above the state minimum wage, they can also, if they want to, raise the tip credit. If they don't want to, they don't have to. They can never raise the tip credit so much that that person would be getting paid less than the state tipped minimum wage. So they can never pay somebody less than what that person would be paid if their municipality had not elected to raise the minimum wage. And the question then is, why are we doing this? And I'll just say that I live in Boulder, and in my town, the city said to me, representatives from the city, we would like to raise our local minimum wage, but we don't want to do it if we can't adjust the tip credit, because our restaurant industry is asking us not to do that, because what in essence happens is that their highest paid employees get a raise, and their lowest paid employees who are oftentimes already making more than minimum wage actually don't get a raise. And they wanted to be able to take the money from the saving they would get by us raising the tip credit and using that to either pay higher rents, pay higher food costs, pay higher labor costs for the back of the house, or add it to their bottom line so they can stay in business. And that is the reason for the bill, and that was our policy objective. And I think the bill is in a good place to help local governments if and when they decide to take that action. And I ask for a yes vote.
Senator Doherty.
Thank you. And just to add to what my colleague stated, we believe this bill is a step towards allowing local governments to adjust their tip offset for what works in their community should they have chosen to increase their minimum wage beyond the state minimum wage. Many communities like mine want to protect their local Colorado-grown restaurants, and we believe that that's what this bill is doing. At the local level, we can change this, as you heard, by unfreezing the tip offset in districts that have raised their local minimum wage. There are ways for communities to incrementally adjust their tip offsets without ever reducing base wages for tip employees, and I urge an aye vote. Thank you.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in opposition to House Bill 1208. Having heard this bill in committee, and with great appreciation and respect for the restaurant industry trying to seek a path forward to address their concerns, I want to start off, I guess, just by saying that the messages that proponents of 1208, restaurant owners, the messages that they received on social media and what have you, bad Yelp reviews and bad Google reviews for having testified in support of this bill, that's not cool. That's not how we do things. That being said, what was, I think, incredibly important and compelling for me to hear, there are 3 jurisdictions across the state of Colorado who have advanced local minimum wage ordinances since the 2019 bill took effect. Boulder, Edgewater, and Denver. Denver was the first. There are 13 members in the Denver City Council. 1 testified in support, 1 testified in opposition, and presented a letter signed by 9 other members of the Denver City Council. That is a veto-proof majority in my jurisdiction. And those council members said clearly, we want full local control. The deal that was struck in the House, respect. I know very little about how anything in the House goes. But the deal that was struck did not have local governments at the table. And so the language that was put forward saying, here are the parameters under which you can exercise your local control, is not actually full local control. Now, I care deeply about where my city councilors are at on this bill. But I also share a boundary with Edgewater. I represent one side of Edgewater, the other side of, I represent one side of Sheridan, which is Denver. The other side of Sheridan Boulevard shares a boundary with Edgewater. Edgewater City Council members also signed said letter of support, signed the letter asking for full local control. And so in 2 out of the 3 jurisdictions who have put forward policies that now HB 25-1208 seeks to, amend or create an opportunity for redress, that is of concern to me. For all of the folks here who talk all of the time about the importance of local control when the local government officials are telling you, this ain't it, please give us the language that would actually give us the full parameters that we need to be able to be responsive to the small business owners and to the workers in our respective communities. That matters. That matters. We don't get to pick and choose on these questions. And so for that reason, I encourage a no vote on this bill.
Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I actually sat in on this committee. It was a fun day. Lasted a lot longer than I expected. And the good senator from El Paso County, who is not here today, owes me. But anyways, I think many of you know I have a local control, local government background, so I'm pretty big on local control myself. So when I'm reading the letter from several municipal folks, the last line says, "We therefore request an amendment to House Bill 25-1208, this bill, that allows local control of the tip offset across all local governments that have passed local minimum wages or may do so, will do so in the future, as was the original intent in House Bill 19-1210. And it's signed by folks from Denver, Arvada, Thornton, Arapahoe County Commissioner, Aurora, Lakewood, Westminster, Edgewater, Denver, Adams County Commissioner, Boulder County Commissioner. But it says they want local control. And members, in committee, I asked the Denver folks that were testifying, I said, so if municipalities have full local control to address the issue, are you good with the bill? And I got from the Denver City Councilwoman who was testifying, she said yes, that they would back away. And from the woman who was representing the labor folks up in Boulder County, she gave a long explanation, so then I just frankly had to ask her, are you a yes or no? Would you, if it's got local control, are you good with the bill? And she gave me a thumbs up. And the city of Boulder is good with the bill. So I take that as they're good with the bill, and here's why. And I am big on local control and having been able to have the opportunity for people to address their local government when they're making decisions. But here's what it says in the bill. A local government that has enacted a code or ordinance that imposes a local minimum wage in an amount that exceeds the amount of the state minimum wage may, in all caps, because they put this amendment in the House, may increase the amount of the tip offset associated with the local minimum wage. They may increase it. That's local control, folks. Now, I know some people maybe want to argue that, well, it's not full local control, but it is. It is in our Constitution that the amount that is in the tip offset has to be at $3.02. $3.02. That's in our Constitution. So this amendment went on further to say, after it says may increase the amount of the tip offset. So it's a may. Do it if you want. And I'm thinking if they're going to develop a minimum wage, that maybe they should listen to some of their restaurant folks like we listened to in committee for a few hours, that, you know, local restaurants should have the opportunity to voice their concerns and influence the local government. But again, it says may. They may increase the amount. Doesn't say shall, doesn't say they have to increase by a certain amount, none of that. It just says may. So you go through and you do that, and your local restaurants come to you and petition you and say, come on, increase that tip offset. The local government has the ability to say yes or say, no, we're not going to do that, with one exception. And remember, this says increase. This portion says increase. Because the next part of this sentence says, except that a local government shall not impose a tip offset in amount that allows a tipped employee to earn less than the state minimum wage minus $3.02. In other words, this is a safety net provision that is in the Constitution. The Constitution says you can't go less than $3.02. So I don't know if that's what they mean by full local control or not, but you ain't getting it. The Constitution is very clear. This bill does not change the Constitution. We are not trying to change the Constitution with a ballot measure, and local governments cannot change the Constitution in their abilities at their local agencies, local municipalities. So again, they may increase the amount of type offset, don't have to, but they cannot go below what the Constitution says. Otherwise, they would be in conflict with the Constitution, and then they would have other issues they have to deal with. So again, ask the folks that were there. I wish I would have asked somebody a little bit earlier, because I think there was another person who was opposed. I wish I would have asked them. But again, I was new on the committee that day, and I had to get a copy of the bill and start reading it. But again, it says may. They have full local control. They may increase the tip offset. They don't have to if they don't want to. If their local restaurants come up to them and say, hey, we'd like you, want to voice their concerns and try and influence their local government, they have the opportunity to do that. But again, it's a may. Local governments may increase the amount. They cannot lower the amount less than $3.02 because, folks, it's in the Constitution. So that's why that sentence is in here. So again, they said it in committee. The people that I asked said, yes, we'd back away. Yes, I'd give you a thumbs up. And in the letter that we all received, it says very clearly, they request an amendment that allows local control at the tip offset. They got it. This is a good bill. I urge an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage of House Bill 1208. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. The ayes have it. House Bill 1208 is passed. Will the clerk please read the title of the Senate Bill 18?
Senate Bill 18 by Senator Bridges and Representative Taggart concerning online search for sales and use tax information.
Senator Kipp.
I move SB 25018.
That is a proper motion to the bill. Senator Kipp.
This is a very simple bill from the Sales and Use Tax Simplification Task Force. All it does is allow people to look up a business name by name instead of by a business number. I ask for a yes vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 18. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 18 is passed. Will the clerk please read the title of the Senate Bill 40?
Senate Bill 40 by Senators Robertson, Simpson, and Representatives McCormick and Martinez concerning the creation of the Future of Severance Taxes and Water Funding Task Force.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 40, the Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee report, and the Appropriations Committee report.
To the Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the Ag and Natural Resources Committee, we added in a legislative declaration, as well as made some changes as to how local governments interact with the task force.
Senator Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We also took out the general fund appropriation and drove this, asked the department to fund it internally.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the adoption of the Agricultural and Natural Resources Senate Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Agricultural and Natural Resources Committee report is adopted. To the Appropriations Committee report. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As the good senator from Alamosa stated, this is no longer a general fund, and the Appropriations Committee made that appropriation through a cash fund, which we're going to change at the next step, but right now I just asked for an approval of the committee report.
The motion before the body is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Appropriations Committee report is adopted. To the bill. There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L004?
Amendment L004.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L004.
That's a proper motion to the amendment.
So we had a great recommendation from the Appropriations Committee to change the funding source one more time. The amended version was funding the bill from the Severance Tax Operational Fund. This amendment would change it to the Severance Tax Perpetual Base Fund. We think this is a good source of revenue for the bill and ask for an aye vote.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment L004. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment L004 is adopted. There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L003?
Amendment L003.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L003.
That's a proper motion to the amendment.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this amendment basically pushes back a deadline that had been established previously and changes it to 2028. This has to do with the ad valorem tax credit. There was a bill a few legislative sessions ago where the body passed to change the calculation of the ad valorem tax credit, but because the years they've been using have been so volatile, the department and the stakeholders involved all agree that they need a little bit more time, and so this amendment would push back that deadline to 2028.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the adoption of Amendment L003. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment L003 is adopted. There is an amendment at the desk. Will the clerk please read Amendment L005?
Amendment
Senator
L005.
Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L005.
That's a proper motion to the amendment.
So this bill that we'll talk about at some point, I promise, proposes to create a task force. This amendment just ensures that the task force, just for good measure, is open to the public and includes an opportunity for public testimony clearly specified in statute.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage or adoption of Amendment L005. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Amendment L5 is adopted. To the bill. Senator Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As my good colleague and friend from Frisco highlighted, this is an important bill for the water community. I can identify when the first statewide water plan was completed in 2015, across the state there was a recognition of a need of about $100 million a year for the next 20 years to support the water plan at the time. Trying to find ways to secure repeatable, dependable financing for the water plan is really important. Severance taxes certainly have an abundance of volatility associated with them. So the task force is really an effort to dig in a little deeper with stakeholders, water right holders, ag community, environmental community, the oil and gas industry, CWCB, to really put together over the next little more than a year to try to figure out how we can identify potential other sources of funding to support our statewide water plan, and would appreciate your support.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before the body is the passage of Senate Bill 40. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 40 is passed. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion before the body is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Mulliken.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
April 14, 2025. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 18, Senate Bill 40, as amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1208, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Mulliken.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, committee of the whole report is adopted. You good? Senate Bill 18, Senate Bill 40 is amended, passed on second reading in order and gross placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1208, passed on second reading in order and revised and placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. Consideration of governor's appointments. Consent calendar. Mr. Schaffler, please read all the appointments listed on the consent calendar.
Members of the Clean Transit Enterprise for terms expiring September 28, 2028. Kathleen Brack of Fort Collins, Colorado, to serve as a representative of a public advocacy group that has transit or comprehensive transportation experience, appointed. Matt Frommer of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a representative with expertise in zero emissions transportation, motor vehicle fleets, or utilities, reappointed. Don Block of La Junta, Colorado, to serve as a representative of a transportation-focused organization that serves an environmental justice community, reappointed. Member of the Public Utilities Commission, effective January 12, 2025, for a term expiring January 8, 2029. Eric Blank of Boulder, Colorado, a Democrat and continuing as chair, reappointed. Members of the Front Range Passenger Rail District Board for terms expiring December 31st, 2028. John Putnam of Boulder, Colorado, to serve as a representative of transportation or public finance, appointed. Jose Soto of Pueblo West, Colorado, to serve as a representative supporting a statewide employee organization, reappointed. Joshua Lapley of Lakewood, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the public, reappointed. Members of the Colorado Prescription Drug Affordability Review Board for terms expiring September 27, 2027. Gail Meisner, MD, FACP, AAHIVS of Snowmass Village, Colorado, reappointed. Sammy Diab, MD of Greenwood Village, Colorado, reappointed. Member of the Air Quality Control Commission for a term expiring January 31st, 2027. Greg Thomas of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a representative of scientific and technical experience, appointed. Members of the University of Colorado Hospital Board of Directors. Hospital Authority Board of Directors. Laney P. Minnick from the 1st Congressional District for a term effective December 1st, 2024 and continuing until November 30th, 2028, or until a successor is appointed by the Board of Regents, reappointed. Robert J. Avila from the 3rd Congressional District for a term effective December 4th, 2024 and continuing until December 3rd, 2028, or until a successor is appointed by the Board of Regents, appointed. Jill Carter from the 6th Congressional District for a term effective November 7th, 2024 and continuing until November 6th, 2028, or until a successor is appointed by the Board of Regents, appointed.
Majority Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the passage of all the appointments on consideration of governor appointments consent calendar, which include Kathleen Brackey of Fort Collins, Matt Frommer from Denver, Don Block of La Junta for the Clean Transit Enterprise, Eric Blank of Boulder for the Public Utilities Commission, John Putnam of Boulder, Jose Soto of Pueblo West, John Lapley of Lakewood for the Front Range Passenger Rail District Board, Gail Misner, MD, FACP of Snowmass Village, and Sam Daw of Greenwood Village for the Colorado Prescription Drug Affordability Review Board, and Greg Thomas of Denver for the Air Quality Control Commission.
Any discussion? Yep. Mr. Majority Leader, keep going.
Laney P. Minnick from the 1st Congressional District, Robert Avila from the 3rd Congressional District, and Jill Carter from the 6th Congressional District for the University of Colorado Hospital Authority Board of Directors.
Now is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the confirmation of all the appointments on the consent calendar. Are there any no votes on the consent calendar? With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 2 excused, those appointments are confirmed. Message from the House.
The House is adopted and transmits herewith House Joint Move 1001. House Joint Memorial 1001.
Announcements. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier this morning, members, a concurrent resolution was read over and assigned to the State Affairs Committee, SCR2. We are adding that to our calendar for State Affairs tomorrow, the 15th. I'll announce the full calendar tomorrow in the usual way, but wanted to note that SCR2 will be part of it tomorrow, Tuesday.
Very good. Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. President. We will be having appropriations tomorrow, and we will be hearing several bills as listed and potentially added. At 7:30, I know, that's sad, at 7:30, and we're doing it at 7:30 so that the members of appropriations and the people with bills can also go to the Aid Appreciation Breakfast. Thanks.
Excellent. Announcements. Senator Judah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I just wanted to draw your attention. For those of us that have been here for a while, we know that there's a coffee shop across the street in the church. They have since reopened, and it's minority owned by, I think he's Ethiopian. It's Coffee Time, and they serve Ethiopian coffee, which is where coffee comes from. So it is probably some of the best coffee that you can have. So if you ever need to take a meeting or want to take a meeting outside the Capitol, I just wanted to encourage folks to go support a small business very close to us. Thanks.
Very well. I have one quick announcement. If you didn't already know, there is a Colorado Event Alliance Lunch and Learn that's going on today in the West Foyer. Stop by and get some food until 2 o'clock. Any other announcements? Senator Weissman.
Thank you. One more committee announcement. This is for Judiciary this afternoon. We are meeting in the usual room, Old Supreme Court, usual time, 1:30. The agenda is as follows. 1301, 1290 back for action, 1239, 1282, and 130 in an action-only posture. See you at 1:30.
Announcement. Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, earlier today, there was a calendar announcement that Senate Bill 25201, requiring age checks for online sexual material, was laid over beyond the end of the calendar, beyond the end of the session, rendering it effectively dead. I am here to tell you that bill is not dead. That policy is something we must lean into and continue to consider. There is meaningful harm being done to children today. This is happening because existing law is not being enforced. The bill that was laid over would, without identifying adults, allow them anonymous access to the full spectrum of their First Amendment rights. At the same time, that bill would protect children, and that policy to be continued and considered would protect children. The politics and misunderstanding generated against the proposal have prompted us to pause only for a moment. This conversation must and will continue. I ask you for your clear-eyed and honest engagement on that policy as the matter moves forward. Colleagues, thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Moment of personal privilege, Senator Doherty.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. You heard earlier that Senate Bill 201 was laid over this session, but let me make one thing crystal clear. This bill will be back. We are confident that we have a clear path forward through both chambers of the legislature with strong bipartisan support. The bill passed out of committee with overwhelming support, 8-1, showing that lawmakers are united in their commitment to protecting children. However, given the looming and absolute threat of a veto from the governor, we've made the decision not to move forward at this time. While we believe that we have the votes to pass this through the legislature, we must be realistic about the final outcome. So, for this session, we're laying it over, but don't mistake that for retreat. We will return, we will come back stronger with improved provisions and renewed commitment to protecting children from incredibly harmful content. We will continue working with experts, advocates, and lawmakers to craft a bill that works, one that balances child protection, upholds privacy, and stands up to legal challenges. This issue is not going away. The statistics are clear and show that incredible harm is being done to our children. The risks are real, and the need for action is critical. We will not stop fighting for the safety of our children. Our commitment to them remains, and we'll be back with a renewed strategy. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you both. Further announcements? Majority Leader. Oh, there is one other announcement. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, just for calendar and schedule purposes related to Senate Judiciary, 1:30 will be running at the top of the calendar. See you all then.
Very good. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we will be recessing as we'll be reading some bills across the desk later today. No need to return. On that note, Mr. President, I move the Senate recess until 1:30 p.m. today.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will stand in recess until 1:30 p.m. today.